times, but in the end, President Obama decided against military action targeting the Assad regime. ISIS has shot down an Iraqi helicopter in fighting in Mosul. NPR's Jane Arraf says it occurred during the ongoing offensive to free the city from the grip of Islamic State extremists.
This is believed to be the first time in the battle for Mosul that ISIS has shot down a helicopter. The Iraqi military says 2 of its army pilots were killed when the helicopter crash-landed after taking enemy fire in West Mosul. Iraqi forces, backed by U.S. airstrikes, have been fighting for 6 months to retake the city.
Mosul is the Islamic State's major stronghold in Iraq, seized by the group nearly 3 years ago. President Trump is opening his high-stakes negotiations with Chinese President Xi Jinping today at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. The leaders arriving in South Florida separately today ahead of the 2-day summit. Trump and Xi, joined by their wives, are attending a welcome dinner this evening, followed by policy discussions. The meeting comes at a time when President Trump has taken a more aggressive posture towards China, including on trade and jobs issues. Twitter is challenging the constitutionality of a demand from U.S. officials to hand over the name behind one of its user accounts that opposes President Trump. NPR's Laura Seidel reports Twitter made the government's demand public in a lawsuit filed today.
The Twitter account in question says it's run by federal immigration employees. It goes by the handle @alt_USCIS. The acronym CIS refers to Citizenship and Immigration Services. The account's description says it's immigration resistance. Twitter's lawsuit is challenging the government's demand to unmask the true owner of the account. Twitter has resisted other governments' attempts for information about its users, including a demand from New York prosecutors for information about an Occupy Wall Street protester in 2012. Twitter lost that case. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, a defendant in the latest suit, declined to comment on pending litigation. Laura Seidel, NPR News, San Francisco.
Stocks posted modest gains today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 14 points to 20,662. The Nasdaq was up 14 points. The Standard & Poor's 500 gained 4 points today. You're listening to NPR News in Washington.
And then there were 2. Comcast with a new plan, Sprint 2, Android Wear wearing me out, esports is back, Uber Lyft gets a mixed legal ruling, plus your calls all queued up next.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip, unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jam, unlock it, surf it, scroll it, pause it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it, technologic.
Live from studios in Self Hall on the beautiful campus of Jacksonville State University, it's the Hey Techies Show. Now, here are your hosts in chairs that should have been thrown out years ago, Michael, Bruce, and the Guru.
Well, how's it going, Guru?
I'm doing fantastic.
Fantastic.
That's the only way to be.
Yeah. Well, tonight will be interesting, not because there's no Bruce, because there is no Bruce tonight, but because...
I was going to play my little...
Oh, there we go.
It's better. I was going to play my little Where in the World's Bruce, but you kind of ruined it.
No,
you
I
ruined
didn't.
it.
I didn't ruin it. You can still play it.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Bruce.
That's what you get for letting me control everything.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
I got all the sound effects
That's
right
right
here.
Well, that works for me.
Where in the world is Bruce? We miss you, Bruce.
Yeah, well, he's on duty. Let's leave it at that. So I totally understand. But anyway, we do miss him, and we'll get by just fine. I just know we will.
Oh, yeah,
We'll
we
have
will.
a great time. Plenty of stuff to talk about. Good grief.
You would think we'd been off like a month. Much stuff has piled up in the last week.
You know, tech is never boring. You know, you sometimes you think there's nothing to talk about, and then there is. So anyway, but we'll get to all of that soon. And so you survived the weather last night?
Yes, I see you survived.
Oh yes, Well, we actually had an Easter drama practice last night, and it sounded like we have a metal roof on our church, and it sounded like the roof was going to come in. Goodness. And it wasn't, obviously, but when you have a metal roof, it just sounds horrible.
Well, I did a little bit of storm spotting yesterday.
I saw that. I saw your Twitter.
Yeah, one of the last little lines that came through, it looked like it was going to be just west of my location, and I was going to be in a safe position.
Right.
Because I've gone to the storm spotter classes in the past, so I knew like the lower part of the storm is where the rotation would be, and it looked like it may have had a hook echo on the radar, and the weather people talk about it may be rotating, and conditions were favorable, so a quick little trip down the road, and I witnessed this storm cloud, had a lowering, and it was swirling up there.
Wow!
So I was like, ooh.
I saw the picture that you sent. That was pretty amazing.
So I'm just glad that no one in Alabama was injured by the events yesterday.
Some cars were injured. I've seen some of those.
Cars can be fixed and replaced, but
Houses.
people cannot as easily.
Well, welcome to the Hey Techie Show. So glad you are here with us.
This is not
evening.
the Hey Weather Spotter.
Oh, this is whatever we want to make it. That's how it goes around here. And if you want to be on the phone,
256-782-5600.
And you can be on the Hey Techie Show and ask us whatever tech-related question
Just
you want.
Don't blame us for the weather.
That's right. Yeah.
But I tell you, some people are ripping the weather people because, you blew the forecast.
Well, that happens.
The part they blew was the tornado part. You know what? I'm glad and I'm so thankful that we didn't have a major tornado situation. But everything else that they predicted was spot on.
Yeah.
And I'd rather them, prepare you for it and the conditions don't line up for that than we have another snowpocalypse kind of thing.
Also, if you want to see our lovely faces and the back of
Guru's
head, heytechieshow.com.
We don't have the fancy setup.
And there, I know. And there you can see all of our.
If I had a board operator, I could sit over there where Bruce normally sits.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Well, you're a great board operator.
Well, thank you.
And I have to keep my eyeballs over there on the phone.
Yeah,
we all do something here. Well, I don't know what Bruce does when he's
Bruce
here,
just shows up.
But anyway, I tell you what, things are heating up in the tech world for sure. I mean, I'm going through my stories here, and I keep adding to it. And I just heard one. If you were listening to us earlier, before we came in, they just talked about this one related to what the government is doing, trying to sue Twitter to get information about a account. And from what it sounds like to me is that there is a Twitter account at alt_USCIS. And I'll put this in the show notes. I don't have this link in the show notes yet. This is off Mashable, and I'm sure there's other websites that are talking about this. They want to, I guess, basically, for lack of a better term, and maybe this is the term, unmask who exactly is that. I believe that those powers that be, the government, think these are government employees, is what I'm gathering.
Oh, okay.
That are actually running it.
Kind of divulging stuff they shouldn't be divulging.
Well, they're anti-immigration. They're not anti-immigration. They're anti-stopping immigration. Or slowing it down.
Anti.
That's what I understand. They're an immigration resistance.
There you go, immigration resistance.
According to this, that's what their bio reads. And of course, they go on the idea of the First Amendment, and I do get that. If this is the case, if these are individuals who are running this and they are employees of the United States or in one of these departments, specifically in the immigration department, it would be interesting how that would work, because it would be something similar to you're a person in a company, but yet you have a Twitter account that's anti that company.
Yeah.
I can see that if you do this on your own and you're not doing it on company time, you could get into this little deal where it could be, well, it is freedom of speech, yes. Now the problem,
but it's thin ice. You're on thin ice because but if they consider them, if you say you're an employee of a certain organization, then you kind of need to be careful what you say online. You should be careful what you say online, period.
I know, but I think their point is
But-
they ought to they have the right to disagree. Which I mean, I'm not saying they don't.
Yeah. Wish Bruce was here. He'd be all on this.
Oh, well, of course, he'd be all in the opposite side of me. That's for sure.
But if you have to second guess yourself whether or not you should put it online, then maybe you shouldn't. That's the rule of thumb.
Well, I
always
think they're
use.
putting it online on purpose.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
that's
I-
different.
actually,
they're being different. They're a different
well,
case.
I mean,
special case.
yeah, that's a special case. Anyway, I just happened to this. I heard about it on NPR, and I actually had seen the story and was sort of just reading up on it about some of the stacks I go through to prepare for the show.
I'm glad you prepared because I've been slacking on my preparation, and I know Bruce is.
What? Nah,
No,
y'all,
Bruce
y'all
is-
are fine.
no.
Y'all always come up with something for sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
I always have a rant or two.
Yeah, this week in Tech History later on, which is,
Yeah, I actually prepped for
toward the
that
end
like
of the show.
within the last hour.
Well, hey.
I can't.
hey.
I said I'm glad Bruce isn't here because I didn't have one. But then you got a little disappointed. It's like, let me do some research real quick. So I did find one. So listeners, you can play along. At
I had
home
a
with
little
us.
tweet deal today with.
I thought that watch wasn't working right.
Well,
You sit there looking at your.
it is
your-
to an
your-
extent. I've had a tweet deal now back and forth with Android Wear, and they were telling me some things to try, and
I'll tell you what to try.
maybe it's better. I'm not.
I know what- I
I'm
know-
not getting an iPhone or an Apple Watch, so you
Well-
can hang that up.
Well, you didn't listen to me out.
What?
I said get a Microsoft Band
I don't want them. No, you can't even
and a
get
Windows
one.
phone.
Yeah, all right. They're probably not going to make one pretty soon.
Probably not.
No, probably not. So
Go back to the days of a old school watch with hands and no smart kick.
yeah, but I
features,
like
so.
the notifications.
I know. You got to be like what I tell you the other day. You're just having trouble with your Android phone. I was like, you got to be like old school. Got to pull your phone out of your pocket
That's right.
to check for your
That's
notifications.
right. Well, see, this all started.
It's like the dark ages.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to finish this later, but this really all started
Yeah.
back when it updated to 2.0. Android. Well, I almost said it.
Android
Yeah.
2.0.
Android Wear 2.0.
That's why you don't always install the .0. You wait for that dot.
Well, no, it
release.
just did. It did it.
Speaking of that, iOS has
Yes.
iOS 10.3.1 came out.
Yeah. Yeah, they've had a few issues. I
And we've
understand.
got a story about that, and Micah, our main man Micah, cued us in on some of that. So,
Right.
but we've got
Is-
we got a special caller coming up, don't
Well,
we?
I hope so.
We do.
I
We
mean,
should.
we are supposed to. I don't see anything lighting up yet, so I'm sure he'll be
Well,
calling.
we need to
They'll
we
be
need to-
calling soon.
Yeah,
so.
they will be.
Anyway, so that's what we got going on in the Hey Techie Show, and among a lot of other stuff too. So we'll be getting to all of our stories, including maybe our caller coming up here soon, and finish up with my Android Wear story.
Yeah,
Sort of what I've been going through, and maybe it'll get fixed.
I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to turn out that your phone is too old. I'm sure that's what it is.
Well,
Well,
I
the
can just buy the brand new Pixel.
Oh, sure.
and then it'll work
Well, I
great.
want to wait for the 2 if I'm going to do that. I'd love to be able to get a Pixel XL.
Or a
2.
Samsung with an 8.
Nah,
the new one.
I'm going to know somebody that has the 8, so we'll see how that thing
Well, you
works.
can always, you can always get it for a test run around the block.
Yeah, I know. That comes out April 21st, so we'll see how that
Okay.
works. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how. So, anyway, well, the Hey Techie Show will be right back.
Yeah, don't go anywhere.
Yeah,
We'll
don't
be-
go anywhere.
If you blink an eye, you'll miss it.
Yeah, you'll miss it. Be right back. Hey Techie Show.
The Hey Techie Show, where there's no data caps none of the time.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladiga Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Welcome back into the Hey Techies Show. And, of course, we bring in the guru, although he hasn't really gone anywhere.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Didn't go anywhere.
Well, if you don't remember, back, I guess, late last year, we had Trey on, and he was telling us about esports and kind of bringing us up to date. And so there's a couple of stories about esports out today, and several of them, actually, and we wanted to bring Trey on. Trey, how are you doing tonight?
Doing all right. How about you guys?
Well, fairly good, I guess.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on at such short notice. Like, I talked to him at lunchtime today. Said, hey, would you mind coming on? We had a couple of stories here. I think we need the gamer expertise.
So, so could you give us a little update on JSU Esports quickly?
Well, JSU Esports, last month we competed in the Heroes of the Dorm. I don't know if you've seen anything about it. It's for the multiplayer online battle arena game Heroes of the Storm that's made by Blizzard.
Okay.
We participated in it, and we were one game away from being in the round of 64.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was unfortunate that we lost, but we were right there on the edge of it.
And how many, teams were competing in this at the start?
It was there were probably 70 teams in each of the 4 groups, or a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, you got to carry your 2 and your 3 there to add that up. So,
Yeah.
So in this game now, what exactly do you do in this particular game in case somebody's listening and they don't know about it?
Well, Heroes of the Storm is just it's much like the game League of Legends, where it's multiplayer online battle arena where you have one team spawns on one side of the map and another team spawns on the other, and you try to go to the enemy's base and try to destroy their base.
Okay.
But the difference between League of Legends and this game is that there are objectives that you have while you're trying to get to the enemy's base as well. And they help you get to the enemy's base because you can spawn a giant monster that'll help you push to their base and things of that nature.
Okay. I don't know if you've seen this story. It actually, I guess it's out today. Today's the 6th, right? Yeah, it's out today. This comes from, it's actually in Forbes, and the University of Utah is the headline, offers scholarships to pay varsity esports.
I actually was reading that story yesterday because I follow an esports-centric blog, and they already were talking about it. And so I was reading about it, and they're actually not the first team to do that. There's actually been, I think it was Robert Morris University that's already had a varsity program for almost 2 years now.
Yes, but they consider Utah one of the Power Five, like the Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, and SEC. So that's why it's a big story, I guess, in that because – I mean, no offense to any other college, especially our very own JSU. I'm not trying to do it, but when you're talking about adding a varsity team, you think of football or you think of whatever
cross
other
country
sport, right?
or
whatever,
basketball,
whatever the sport. This is, I mean, for esports, this is a big thing here.
Yeah.
To get a major player like Utah to
and I don't know if you've seen, but the Big Ten Network is now following Big Ten League of Legends.
There you
go.
They air a game. They were airing all of the Collegiate Star League games that were playing for any of the Big Ten teams.
Wow. I think we've said this before when you've been on, Trey, but you'll see this, Michael, within the next 5-10 years, this will be NCAA sport. It'll be sanctioned by the NCAA.
I don't know.
I hope not, actually.
Yeah, I was fixing to say that's probably
I know.
It
probably may not be the best, but
that's not a good thing.
Well, if I say that to say it's going to gain popularity to the point it's going to be more mainstream. And hopefully, hopefully it doesn't get bogged down in the regulations as the NCAA is, because you can debate that all you want, and we'll say that for the sports show to talk about. But anyway.
Well, one of the main things that would differentiate esports and regular traditional sports is that actually if they don't NCAA sanction it, then they could potentially make money while they're going to college. And that would definitely help support any college student because they can make money from streaming revenue or making videos or anything that relates to esports.
Right. Yeah, and I know the show that comes on at 5, they were talking about, affordability of college and stuff. So that would definitely help.
Yeah, this says that last year Big Ten Network partnered with Riot Games to run a 2-month televised Big Ten League of Legends League. Say that 3 times. Riot Games contributed $5,000 scholarships to the players through Scholarship America as part of the deal. So that is pretty big. I didn't realize that last year.
I had no idea that this had already had. This was, I guess, years in the making, sort of, with the scholarships.
Yeah, apparently
But
so.
I think this is now that a big school is doing it. I mean, this is.
Okay,
really
this is what I wanted to
cool.
read right here,
Yeah.
and this is what it says that there is at this at the university here, there's a Utah esports director, AJ Dimick is what I believe his name is saying here. He hopes the plan is to grow a program to the point where they can offer full scholarships to 35 students.
Wow.
And a recruitment form is available online there. So there you go.
Yeah, and you've seen several of the West Coast teams do some of these things, like University of California of Irvine is one of the big players in that. And then Robert Morris has a actual varsity program as well. I think they were the first to do it, actually.
Yeah, this says there are about 20, a little more than 20 official varsity programs across North America right now. It says that there are more than 750 college club teams nationwide, or maybe that might even be world. It doesn't really say here.
I think that's probably nationwide.
That would sound right to me too. So anyway.
So how many varsity teams did you say,
It
Michael?
says 20, more than 20.
More
they
than
don't
20.
They're not giving a total number.
Give it
an
two.
estimation.
Give it 2 years, be more than 100. You heard it here.
Possible.
You heard it here first,
oh,
folks.
yeah, guru.
That's right.
Yeah, so anyway, that's interesting. Well, we'll have to keep our eyes and our ears peeled on that story to see how that progresses, because I do believe Guru's right. They're probably going to be adding it. I tell you what happened. If any kind of monetary can be made of this, universities are going to be interested.
Yeah.
I mean, they're flat out going to be interested.
And if they can find people that are alumni of that university that want to donate money to help fund
Sure.
scholarships, then that even helps out even more, is trying to figure out how, because if you can entice people with scholarships to, hey, participate in this sport, and
right, exactly.
we'll help pay for your college. I mean, I don't know any college student wouldn't be on top of that.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah, and I definitely want to see our program, especially after when I graduate. I want to try to give back and try to get them some availability of being able to actually have a real program.
So
fully fledged program.
Yeah, that would be great.
Absolutely, that'd be awesome to see happen.
So, what do you think about this Microsoft Project Scorpio?
Yeah, Microsoft has had this in the works for a while. They teased it back last year,
right?
And so they basically they realized when they launched the Xbox One that it was so underpowered. So many people put videos of comparisons of graphics with the Xbox One and PS4, and everybody, the PS4 was cheaper and had better graphics, so why not go with the PS4?
Right.
So when you look at it now with the Scorpio, it's a more high-end console for those type of people who really want to push the limits of the graphic capabilities. It's offering native 4K, which no other console has native 4K yet. The PS4 Pro, which I think just launched recently,
right?
It offers a scaled resolution up to 4K. Like you can scale up to 4K.
Right, it upscales.
You don't play native.
Right. Yeah, and it looks like to hear that supposedly the Scorpio is supposed to have 60 frames per second 4K.
Yeah.
So.
And that's something that I think if you did scale it up to 4K for the PS4 Pro, I think they said it would drop frames down to like 30. Not sure on that.
I honestly, you know about how much I follow this. My son has a PlayStation. That's about it. How much I
know what a PlayStation is.
You know, I do follow some as far as the the specs, because it's interesting. They were talking here, if I've got this right.
Well, while you're looking at that, this article also mentions from Engadget. We'll put a link in the show notes to it, but it says it will also support VR headsets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if that means that they're going to try to.
Right.
I know they've partnered with Oculus. I don't know if they're going to try to introduce their own VR or if they're going to just partner with Oculus to bring it to the Xbox One.
It'd be interesting. I would think maybe just trying to partner with somebody, maybe the quickest way to market on that kind of piece.
So this is going to be a true XP. Oh my goodness, Xbox One, but it's like a Project Scorpio.
So it's just another Xbox One, but it's the highest level.
Oh,
of
okay. I get
it. Xbox One Platinum Edition or something. They'll marketing will put some spin on it to naming it.
It'll probably be like Xbox One HD or some
yeah.
Xbox
thing.
Yeah, Xbox UHD for Ultra HD or something.
Yeah, it's going to have UHD. It says it is.
There was no announcement on pricing, but this article talks about Digital Foundry and Eurogamer guessing it'll be around $499. For pricing.
Yeah, I've seen probably about $550 is probably what most of the, on average, what I've been reading about it is that they're probably saying it may be up to $550, which would be just a little bit more than the original console, if you think about it.
Yeah, how much are like the Xbox One and the PlayStation? I guess PlayStation Pro is the competitor to this. So what's the pricing on those? Can you tell how much?
PS4 Pro is like. I think it was around $450 at launch, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you can find some deals around Christmas time for PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Some package deals.
Well, listen.
Really, I think the Project Scorpio, what they were trying to do is to basically make a console for everybody. So you have the regular Xbox One, which is with the Kinect. It's like a kind of an entertainment type home system, and then you have like the Xbox One S, which is a little bit more geared toward like gamers, but not people who want to spend too much. But then you have the Project Scorpio, which is for the really avid gamers that want like all the performance out of their hardware.
Good, better, best.
It's gonna have,
exactly.
It's said to have 12 gigs of GDDR5 RAM.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's a good bit.
I mean, pretty much
but to handle that graphic, you've got to have
it's the GPU. You know, it's
pretty
much the power. I mean, I know it's got a processor, but pretty much the power's in the GPU.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see. It don't have.
They did up the clock speed on the CPU though. It from the original Xbox One just has 1.75.
Right, it's 2.3.
It's 2.3.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I don't see in this article a mention of release date. Have you heard of when this may actually go to market, Trey?
They're estimating holiday this year, but it could be pushed back depending on how they handle it. I figure that's probably what they're aiming for. Because they wouldn't announce the specs if they weren't planning on releasing it this year. I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with you. Hopefully it'll make it to market for the holiday season.
Part of the question is, will they have much to talk about this at E3 this year?
Yes, actually, they're what they're going to do at E3. Their plan is to try to get a lot of games, show games playing on the Project Scorpio to kind of hype it up, because a lot of these people have been able to take advantage of this hardware. And so they want to show off that at E3 probably.
That will be interesting to see what else they come with that, as far as HoloLens or rather Oculus. Be interesting to see what they tie into it, because they've done this for like the last several Microsoft events. They've had something about either VR or augmented reality, AR. So it'd be interesting to see. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that they might try to integrate that in some way. But my bet, since they've partnered with Oculus before,
Right.
and every Oculus comes with like an Xbox controller, that they'll probably partner with them first.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, for the price you pay for Oculus, it probably should come with an Xbox controller. I don't think it's cheap.
No.
Yeah, it's I think the launch one was closer to 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Man, that
So-
gets expensive more and more every day.
So you've been doing well?
Yeah, I've been doing pretty well.
Well, that's good. How's school going?
School is still school.
Well, that's a fair answer.
We're getting close to finals now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just trying to count down the days.
So, how has has the esports grown here? Have you gotten some more people involved?
Yeah, it and it's one of those things where it grows, and then a lot of people some people may not find out that competition is just not for them. They want to be more casual about
Gotcha.
it. So
Yeah.
it kind of grows, and then some people are not as interested in it. But as far as I feel like next year will probably be the real pivotal year for the JSU esports program.
Okay. Do you have a competition coming up next, or is that pretty much it for the year?
Actually, we're currently competing in the I think it's the EG. They're called the Electronic Gaming Federation, and our team is going to be playing here in a couple of hours for the Overwatch tournament.
Oh, really?
They just won their first game of the tournament last night, and so now they're playing in the semifinals. And then if they win this game, they'll go to the finals.
So how many players does that consist of on our end?
That's six players play on each team for Overwatch.
Okay. Wow.
So is this something like, do you actually play all together in one room like here on campus where like people, if they want to come watch, how does that work? I may have asked that before, but
we've been playing remote because a lot of people, aren't able to just, and we still don't have an actual reserved space for us. So that's one of the things that I'm going to focus on for next year, to try to push the program to get that. But we've just been playing remote. We have a communication server where we log in and we get in communication with the other players and be able to sync up for the games.
Cool.
awesome. We wish y'all all the best tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does the game usually last if you're going to start in 2 hours?
Well, they usually go from. I'm actually not on this team because honestly, I'm not as good on this game as I am some of the other games.
I got you. I understand. I got how that works. I see that.
But the way that it that we're gonna have, I think it was best of 3. They usually do either best of 3s or best of 5s for gaming competitions. So you'll play one map on one map, and that map, they have a rotation set for how the maps are picked.
Okay.
And it's just kind of a draw, and you'll get a map, and then you'll play that map, and then if you got to win best of 3, so they have the map rotation already set, and then you just go to the next map, and if you get to 2 games, then or 3 games if you're playing a 5-game series.
Okay. I got you. Well, that's interesting. Well, Trey, we really appreciate you calling us to talk about these couple of issues tonight. Thanks so much, buddy.
Yeah, it's been nice to talk to you guys again. Haven't heard from you guys in a while.
Well,
I know it's been a while. We'll have to have you back in studio here sometime this summer.
You can bring us up to date. You have to call every now and then and just bring us up to date on what's going on with esports. You're always welcome. So,
yeah, I just always like to stay busy, so
yeah,
don't we all?
It doesn't make it easy.
I know. I totally understand, my friend. Sure do. Well, look, I hope you have a great evening, and best of luck tonight.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right,
have a good night.
You too.
You too.
Take care. Well, there we go. Trey
There we go.
from JSU Esports.
Yeah, thanks for
Here
joining
on-
us, Trey.
here
Appreciate
on
that.
the Hey Techie Show.
That's right.
Bringing you up to date on what's going on.
I'll be proud to see the day when we have our esports gets to a point where we can actually offer scholarships to students. That will be amazing.
That would be.
That would be amazing. I can't wait for that day.
What did you
And if you're-
what did you go to college for? Esports.
I was on an esports scholarship. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm gonna plug our university that our radio station is based out of. We have a fundraising arm, the JSU Foundation. And if you're someone just in the community that you think, man, I'd like to try to get involved. If you want to help, fund a scholarship, contact those folks, and they'll tell you what the process is. Because if you want to donate money to help a student go to school, that can be arranged. I assure you. I mean, I'm not a part of that, but if somebody's just got money in their pocket, they'd like to give to a good cause. Because college is not getting any cheaper, unfortunately. So
yeah, well, that's true.
Oh my goodness, what?
Oh, I'm trying to paste something in our show notes, Guru.
Oh, well.
So you'll have the link that something we talked about earlier. Well, back to my.
Yeah, talk about your Android wear.
Well,
Android
what
wear,
happened back in spring break? My phone first updated to Android 2.0 app. Okay.
What the phone updated?
The phone update.
Is it an auto update or is your phone?
Well,
does your
actually,
phone, how does tell me about the update process? Do you invoke it through your phone?
Well, now this is just for the app on the phone, not the watch.
Okay, this is an app update.
Correct, right? Just for the phone, and it updated automatically. Well, that's what really sent the whole thing into not working well.
Okay.
And so spring break.
So at this point, you had the 2.0 app for your watch on your phone.
Correct, but
and that's when the problem started.
Yes.
Okay.
The app would crash. I could be watching my phone and say, "Oh, Android Wear has stopped unexpectedly."
So is this app like something you have to put on it to be able to use your watch?
Yes.
So it's not nothing native in the OS?
No.
Okay.
Well, now there's probably some things that are, but you have to have this app to connect because it connects via Bluetooth. And it can connect via Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
There are many actual advantages now to having Android Wear 2.0 because one of them, it does work independently as far as apps. It can connect to the App Store through the watch wirelessly. So through Wi-Fi. No, it doesn't have to be hooked to the phone. You could add an app from like if you wanted to buy a watch face or get a watch face or something, you could do it right from. That's my understanding, right from the.
So you don't have to use the phone. That is an advantage over Apple Watch.
According to what I've read, I didn't say I've gotten this to work. I'm just saying that's the one of. So let me back up here.
Okay,
so,
go ahead.
So spring break rolls around.
Yeah,
and I had some time to kill. Well, anyway, I'd been wanting to. So I noticed the watch. It was telling me it had an update. I said, "Oh, good. Maybe this is it.
Oh, this is it.
This is it. This is gonna fix it. This is gonna fix it, right?" So we did the update, and it took a while to download it, and finally got updated, and it seemed okay.
Yeah.
For a while. But then it quickly
Looks can be deceiving.
Looks can be deceiving. Number one. I'm not 100% crazy about the watch face anymore. I had a watch face I liked.
Uh-oh.
But the watch face I liked was the digital watch face, and it's not.
I can't see it.
Yeah, I know it's not working right now.
Well, that's what I have on mine. I have one that's called this. I have Apple. This is Apple Watch, but it's called the modular one, where you have like multiple.
Yeah, it's a digital.
Let me show my multiple things on it.
Yeah, right. It's similar to that.
Yeah,
but it looked different. I like the old look, which is this is what it is, but it changed, and there's no.
I want my old look back.
Right, I wanted my old. I know it sounds like a get off my lawn.
Yeah,
yeah, kind of guy. But anyway, seriously, and so I know somebody's like, just get an iPhone and Apple Watch, and he'll.
That's right. I got the answer to your problem.
Well, so I've been frustrated about it. I didn't even wear it yesterday, and part of the reason was it was going to rain some, and this is a host of reasons.
Yeah.
Well, we were off, and I think I didn't wear it Tuesday. I don't remember. One day I decided,
I may have asked you this. How do you charge it? Is it like is it
actually it has it looks like it lays on a product and
okay,
it
so
charges
it's like
through the base.
like a little magnetic,
right?
Okay,
It's
like
not
Apple Watch.
magnetic because it lays down there. It doesn't.
But it's some sort of like contact charging.
It's at an angle actually, and it's got little edges, so it lays like this, and the two, the bands go over.
Okay,
over.
it's a little bit different, but it's
different.
you just lay it on it. And
it does not. You could just knock it off if you moved it. It does not. It's not on there.
Yeah.
Like it's not. There's no magnetic connection.
But it came with this little base.
Yes.
See, Apple Watch, they just give you the little disc, and like
You
have to buy a separate little doodad if you want to.
It's about this yay big.
Yeah.
It's about an inch wide or a little more than an inch. It's almost like a square, except it's at an angle.
Yeah, yay big is a technical term, right?
It is right now, and I'm trying to help for radio so that they would know who's listening.
I'm just messing.
Trying to think of what it would be like. Tell you what it would be about the size of. Do you know the
about the size of a pack of cigarettes?
No, no. The like if you get a decent sized watch at the watch store, the little case it comes in it's
gotcha.
That size.
A nice watch case.
Yes, it's that size.
Okay. But get back to your story. I got you off.
No, that's a good part of it.
Yeah,
because it helped me think about it. But anyway, so basically today I got aggravated this afternoon. I didn't have it on, but I said, well, I'm going to send a tweet out to Android Wear.
That's right.
Not Andrew Wear, but Android Wear.
Yeah,
and Fossil.
Don't send it to
But
Andrew
before
Wear.
I get to that, let me see if I can pull. I got this article right here because I looked up an article, and I wonder if I put this in here. Did I?
But as an aside, while he's doing that, I tell you, a lot of these companies now, not just Android Wear or Fossil or whoever, but a lot of these companies
Put it in there. Go ahead.
offer support through Twitter. Just go out, and I've used it several times in several occasions, not to complain, but like, I need help with this, or hey, I want to make you aware of this, of that, whatever, So, and not most, there's some companies that are very responsive to that. I mean, within minutes. I'll give you a good example. I don't think this ain't negative, but like recently, I went to Orlando on Delta Airlines.
Yeah. So
I'm on the plane, and you're sitting there waiting to board. And that the little this one had the little entertainment screens, but they weren't turned on yet. All I saw was advertisements rolling on it. So I'm like, I always look at what's in the seat pocket. They used to have a little magazine, like a little shopping thing, and they have the little safety information card.
Yeah.
About it tells you where the exits are, and
right.
just it's very pictorial in nature. But on the front of it, it has the aircraft type.
Right.
I was on an Airbus A321. I knew that because I'm an airplane geek.
You're right. Correct.
But anyway. Well, I pulled the card out, and at the top it said Boeing 757.
Oh.
And I looked at the seat next to me. It said Boeing 757.
Oh.
I looked at the seat on the aisle. It had A321. So I was like, uh-oh. This ain't good. I mean, I know I've flown enough and traveled enough. I know like what to look for. I knew where the exit was, and I listened to the safety brief. But what I did is I took a picture because on once we got airborne. The screen, there was a screen on the entertainment system that showed like what aircraft you're on. It had the serial number, the registration number. It had like the type said Airbus A321. So I took the card and I held it up next to that screen, took a picture. And when I landed and could turn on my cellular data, I sent a tweet to Delta and said, hey, you may want to check this aircraft because there's a lot of these Boeing 757 cards in here, and it's not a Boeing aircraft. I mean, within minutes, they responded, thanks for letting us know. We'll take a look at it.
But now, when you said
go ahead.
When you said a seat, there was a seat. The seat said it on.
In the seat back pocket, there's like usually like a magazine.
Okay. All right, I get it.
They have like I think they call it Sky Magazine. It's got different articles. It's interesting to read. I mean, I don't travel enough. I travel so infrequently. Every time I get on a plane, it's always something new.
Right. I get it.
But I just kind of was flipping through, looking what was in the seat pocket, and before I put my stuff in there.
Right.
And I saw the safety card, and I said, it caught my eye because it was 757. I said, I know I'm not on the 757. I'm on an Airbus A321, which I'm probably talking Greek. Some people are like, what? It's an airplane. Yeah, it is, but anyway.
Well,
the moral of that story is.
What's the moral of your story?
use Twitter if you need to reach out to
Yeah,
a company
okay.
because most of your good companies will respond and respond quickly.
Well, when we come back, I'll finish my little story. I'll wrap it
I'm
up.
sorry, I kind of
No.
I kinda
it's
stole
fine.
that
I got the
conversation.
article now, and I'll wrap
All
it
right.
up.
Well, good.
Hey, Techie Show. Be right back.
You can call, chat, tweet, email, or use that book face thingy. We're watching it all, even that book face thingy.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladica Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
You're listening to the Hey Techies Show on WLJS Jacksonville.
Welcome back into the Hey Techie Show. And if you want to be on the show, 256-782.
5600. Is that right?
Yeah.
5600.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. We've only been doing this for like 80-something shows. You think I'd have that memorized by now?
Episode 88. Episode 88.
I know we're getting closer and closer to 100, and we're getting even closer to the 2-year mark. That's coming up like quickly. It'll be here before we can blink an eye.
See, like so let me back up. So anyway, back on March 30th, there was an article in Phone Arena, and I didn't actually read it then, but I stumbled across it. And I realized what's happened. I think I realized what's happened. According to this article, they started rolling out Android Wear 2.0 update to Fossil Q Founder, which is the watch I have.
Okay.
The Casio Smart Outdoor Watch, the WSD F10, and the Tag Heuer connected. All right. So for other devices, the update is currently being delayed to a bug found in final testing. So they're delaying it to their other, the other type devices. They sent it out to those devices with a bug that wasn't found until.
Well, they're letting y'all beta test it.
Of course, they don't say what the bug is, even when I tried to look it up. But
hey, it's not a bug; it's a feature.
Well, apparently, according to this article, they know there's a bug, but they don't know when they'll send out a fix. And this was March 30th.
So the bug is still in there today.
Well, I'm wondering. Well, anyway, so I messaged them, and they sent me back a message. Hey, have you tried disconnecting the watch? Like totally.
Did you turn it off and back on?
Well,
again?
it's not that.
Sorta.
It's not that.
Did you
It's
unplug it and replug it?
No, I've done all that. It's like disconnecting it from your phone, like unpairing it from your phone.
Well, that's almost like.
And so I said, well, I hadn't done that. I thought about it. So I said, well, I'll do it. So I did it today. And for earlier today, when I was at my house, it was working. But like now, it's not. It's not sending notifications to my.
So it worked for a little while.
Yeah, it's not sending notifications to my actual watch. Like I got some tweets that didn't show up right here, and I got a message that did. And I noticed when I was having the worst part about it was I wouldn't get notifications. I was getting a call it lets you know, and you can, if you have hands free and you're driving or whatever, you can either talk to it, or you can go and quickly swap your watch and it'll answer the phone for you.
Yeah. Well, so Apple Watch does that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that had stopped working after the update. So it's still not perfect.
So there's no resolution yet.
See, unfortunately, Android Wear has stopped. See, there it goes.
Now, what version of Android is your phone on?
And I think this has something to do.
Are you on the latest?
No, I can't get the latest thanks to Verizon.
But your phone.
I actually think I figured out that some of this has to do with messages from Exchange. And I did read somewhere that somebody said that they were having issues with Exchange notifications, that it was fouling up the app.
For those who don't know, like messages from Exchange, that's Office like 365,
right?
For
or anything
example.
like if you have an account that's Exchange.
like you have a work email that uses Microsoft for the email system.
Exactly.
But so you're saying you have your Microsoft Exchange, like an Office 365 email, like tied to the native mail app.
Yeah, right.
And that's the problem.
Well,
supposedly
it seems to make it happen.
That's strange that would cause that issue. But let me ask you this: is that phone itself capable of the latest version of Android? Provided
there it goes again. It'll go over and over and over.
Well, it's broken.
Yeah,
I got the answer to your problem. Get you an iPhone.
Yeah,
and an Apple Watch.
Yeah,
you won't have those problems.
I already have this, and this was a Christmas present. I'm not getting a phone and an Apple Watch. I like this thing. I love the way it worked. I just wish it would go back to what it was.
You want to like roll back.
Yeah, I need a rollback.
You go to your backups.
Yeah,
that's
think
right.
a techie could do that.
Yeah, you would think. Those darn techies.
Yeah.
Maybe you should call Hey Techies. Maybe they can help you.
Well, I'm telling you, about the only way I could do that is if I probably hacked all of them to roll them
I
back.
wouldn't recommend
and that's
that.
not going to happen.
No.
So.
Well, speaking of updates,
yes,
Apple.
Yes,
we talked about this last week with Mike. Was it Micah was with us last week or
a
week before? But anyway, iOS 10.3 came out within the last week or so. Well, now there's a dot release, is what I tend to call it, 10.3.1. It was released on April the 3rd, and it included let's see, 10.3, as we talked about last week. There was major updates to the file system using a new file system, which is that's like geeking out there. We won't talk about that, but kind of behind the scenes, we'll say. It had some fixes to Find My AirPods and that kind of some minor bug fixes. But they released on Monday of this week 10.3.1, which appears to be a minor update to address bugs and other issues that have popped up since the release of 10.3. So there was the security document suggests it fixes a Wi-Fi related vulnerability, and of course they don't go into details of exactly what the vulnerability was. So if you haven't put 10.3 on your phone or your iOS device, I think you're safe to put 10.3.1. That's what I've done. I went ahead and jumped straight to 10.3.1. And if you're on 10.3, please update to 10.3.1. And here's the thing. I was on the 10.2 whatever, and I had yet been notified by Apple on my device, hey, there's a new update to the iOS. This morning I went to I had to go in general and software update and say check for updates. It had not in at least 2 weeks told me. It's kind of strange. Usually Apple's bugging the crap out of you, wanting you to put their update on there.
It's a new feature to not bug you.
It is. I mean, and I was thankful, but I'm glad I was keeping up. And Mike, I think, tweeted to us and told us about 10.3.1. So, yeah, I went ahead and put it on there, and I had any issues. I put it on an iPad and my iPhone. So, good. So far, so good. So there you go.
Speaking of Micah, he tweeted something out.
Oh, did he?
To
what
us. Okay, this is from BBC. Zoe Klingman, technology reporter. Headline: Laptop battery life overstated. Which
shocker!
Test finds.
Which manufacturer? Apple.
Okay, so
I shouldn't be just.
Actually, no. Apple, according to this, lived up to its 10-hour battery life claim.
Well, after they retested that Consumer Reports thing.
Yeah, maybe. Said that models by Dell, Acer, Lenovo, and HP came in with around half the advertised battery life.
Oh. Well, if you remember, I don't know if it was exactly half, but there was issues with the MacBook Pros not up to snuff in terms of what they claimed. So this is along the same lines. You said Dell, Lenovo.
No, it says.
Well, I'm saying, but you're saying
I'm
Dell.
repeating Dell, Acer, Lenovo, and HP. Now, I can't guarantee whether that. I'm just reading their article.
Well, I know.
Reading their article here.
Yeah, we're just passing it on. So
according to this, from what I'm gathering here, there is a study by consumer group Which with a question mark. The group is called Which with a question mark.
Which group is that?
Yeah, that's why. Who's on first? What group would that be? And what did they find?
It's which. Which one was it?
Huh. Apparently, Dell, let's see, battery life metrics on consumer electronics devices such as laptops are typically measured in optimum conditions, which maximize performance, said Ben Woods from CCS Insights. Also, he says there's a lot of variables when it comes to real-world use, such as how bright the screen is and what applications you're using, which can have a major impact on battery performance. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know exactly the way this is worded. I hope I have this right because I'm not. But it says Dell also told Which, who's on first, it was difficult to define average laptop use. Every individual uses their PC differently, Dell said.
You know what the problem is? You're holding it wrong.
That's right. You're holding it wrong.
Yeah.
It's similar to how different people driving the same car will get different mileage depending on how they drive, according to, I guess, Dell.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Your mileage may vary. It's kind of along those lines.
According to, let's see, Which tested
that's throwing me off.
Well, that's what it says.
I know, but
tested a small number of laptops by 7 different manufacturers. So the Acer E15 said it lasted 2 hours 56 minutes. It claimed 6. The MacBook Pro 13 lasted 12. It claimed 10. The Inspiron 15 5000 lasted 3 hours and 58 minutes. It claimed 7. See, I bet you
that's some big disparities.
There's probably some asterisks here that we're not getting.
If you run it on low power mode, do very little on it.
Yeah, right.
Dim the screen to
An
the
HP
lowest
Pavilion 14 lasted 4 hours, 25 minutes, claimed 9. And the Lenovo Yoga's 510, according to Which, who's on first, what's on second? No, I don't know. He's on third base. Lasted 2 hours, 7 minutes, claimed 5 hours. According to Which?
Which one?
That's a good question.
Every time you say that, I'm like,
look, I'm just repeating.
I know you are. I'm just being funny. Trying to be funny, I should say. Sometimes I don't do a very good job of it.
Repair firm Geek Squad said it often serviced laptops suffering low battery life within 2 years of purchase. We find there's a direct correlation between the amount of software running on the machine at any given time and the life the user should expect from it, the firm said.
You know what? I got a suggestion. These manufacturers quit putting this crapware on their PCs.
Well, that could be part of it.
I mean,
you never know.
That just gets on. You want to grind my gears. Whenever I help
grinding gurus gears.
Somebody buys a new computer, a Mac. Well, not a Mac. Mac don't have these problems. PC. When they buy a new PC, desktop, laptop, that's like, hey, can you come over here, Guru, and help me get my PC set up or move my data or whatever? I'm so, oh, sure, I'll be glad to come over there. I did this recently for a neighbor, and first thing I do is remove all the crapware. Yeah. I get it down to where it's just the purest experience
you can
get.
I hear what you're saying.
First and foremost. And they're like, what do you do? I said, I remove all this crapware.
Oh, but he used that.
Oh, I'll leave it on there then. But most of them are like, thank you, because I hate that crap.
Well, anyway. Yeah, I know. It's all that bloatware.
That's right.
That you put on there. Because you really got a discount, don't you? Didn't you see that discount when you bought it because you had all that on there?
I take it right off.
I don't know about that. Well, Micah, thank you for the article.
Yeah,
the Hey Techies Show will be right back because our dose is coming up next.
You've listened this long, so stick around for our dose.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. President Trump says he wants to address the U.S. trade deficit during his Florida summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping. As NPR's Scott Horsley explains, China's trade practices were a frequent target for Trump during last year's campaign.
Thus far, President Trump has not acted on his campaign threats to label China a currency manipulator or slap hefty tariffs on Chinese imports. But Trump told reporters traveling on Air Force One he does plan to make the trade deficit a major focus of his talks with President Xi Jinping. Trump insists the United States has been treated unfairly and made terrible trade deals with China. He's also hoping to press China to use its influence with North Korea to curtail that country's increasingly menacing nuclear weapons program. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
The top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee says he's seen no evidence that former National Security Advisor Susan Rice improperly surveilled aides to then-President-elect Trump during the transition. Senator Mark Warner of Virginia was speaking to NPR's Mary Louise Kelly.
In an interview at the Capitol, we asked Warner, who receives regular classified briefings, if he has seen evidence the Obama administration engaged in political spying. Warner's answer? No. President Trump has suggested Susan Rice may have committed a crime by unmasking Americans caught up in intelligence surveillance or by leaking their names. Rice denies it, and Senator Warner says he's seen no proof.
I have not seen any evidence of improper, but I have to treat the accusations that are made by the Trump administration officials as serious as well until we can actually get to the bottom of it and look at the facts.
Not a week goes by, Warner added, where there aren't new shoes to drop. Mary Louise Kelly, NPR News, Washington.
Senate lawmakers cleared the way today for a final vote tomorrow on the confirmation of Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch. To do it, Republicans deployed the so-called nuclear option, doing away with a long-standing rule requiring 60 votes. Basically, this will make it easier for the majority to confirm its Supreme Court nominees in the future. But South Carolina Republican Lindsey Graham was among those who worry a future majority party will eliminate filibusters entirely with disastrous results.
They'll be tempted to go down this road of doing away with the 60-vote requirement to pass a bill, not appoint a judge. And that'll be the end of the Senate. We've made that more likely by doing this.
After the standard 30 hours of debate now underway, a vote to confirm Gorsuch is anticipated tomorrow. The number of people filing first-time claims for unemployment benefits continued its downward slide on the eve of releasing the more extensive monthly jobs numbers for March. Government announced today initial claims for unemployment benefits fell by 25,000 last week. Stocks posted modest gains today. The Dow was up 14 points. The Nasdaq gained 14 points. This is NPR.
Technologic.
Fix it, crash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, chart it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it.
Welcome back into the Hey Techie Show. And we're doing well tonight. I hope you are doing well. I know the guru.
I'm doing fantastic.
You're doing fantastic. Of course, no Bruce tonight for our dose. Miss old Bruce.
I know. I want to play my sound effect again, but I'll spare our audience.
You're going to spare our audience?
Yes, I will. You're welcome.
Where in the world is
Bruce?
Yeah, that was the gist of it right there.
Just think of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Kind of put that music in your head. Now it's stuck there for all week.
And if you missed our Uno, you can catch it on the HeyTechiesShow.com. HeyTechiesShow.com.
And every hour Uno and dose.
That's correct. And we have
just about everyone we've done, I think, is on there.
And it'll be out on the podcast as soon as I can get that up and ready to go. Maybe quicker this weekend. I feel a little better. So we'll maybe chance there to have that up, right? And anyway, you can go there. And if you want to say, hey, maybe I missed a story, what have you, or you can search. We had a great search there. It searches all of our shows. And I don't talk about our website that much, but we keep it up to date as we can. I mean, we're all doing other things, so we try to do the best we can. But I think for the time that we we put into it. I think we do a fairly good job of trying to keep it up to date and keep the show notes up to date. So, and we do it for you. So we'll hope you enjoy listening. And, of course, if you want to call into the Hey Techies Show, 256-782-5600. And you can be on the air, and we will talk about your tech issue, what have you. We also have, you could be in the chat room, although I don't think I'm there right now, but we have a chat off the YouTube feed.
Yes, we do.
And sometimes folks are in there, so be glad to have you.
Yeah, you can also just email us questions@heytechieshow.com.
That is correct.
Any time of the week, you just got something, just, grinds your gears or question for us, whatever comment, question, complaint, suggestion,
that's right.
praise.
Heytechieshow.com.
Yeah, that was a complaint. Send it to Bruce.
Actually, we got a funny thing. Did you see that one we got from the media request line?
No.
Media request.
I didn't see that one.
It was media. I guess
it's media at.
Well, anyway, it came. I saw it. It probably went to spam in yours.
May have.
It's funny. It's a funny one because it's somebody that's trying to sell us on. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick.
That's what we should do.
Anytime
we get spam, we should read it on air. That'd be a great segment.
I kept it because I thought it was funny. It's a functional aging summit in Orlando, by the way.
I like Orlando.
Yeah,
got Universal Studios and Disney World and SeaWorld and all that good stuff.
Bedros Kulin, Kulian, probably.
Yeah.
Bedros is the founder and CEO of Fit Body Boot Camp. Have they seen our pictures or something? How do they know we did this? That's what I don't get.
We're the epitome of fitness. No.
Oh, sure.
Just kidding.
Of course. Yeah. Apparently, his franchise was placed. Oh, there we go. Look. Oh, I need to take well, I don't want to do it that way. I'll wait till it's on that. It happened again. See there. It's always twice, and you have to clear it twice. Let's see. Is placed on the Inc. 5000 list. Fastest growing private companies in 2016.
So they're like number 4,999.
Correct, right.
Out of 5,000.
Absolutely. Yeah, or they could be 5,000.
They may be.
You never know. Okay, he says the summit is for anyone serious about growing their business or launching an exciting career in the fitness industry.
So it's like they're trying to sell a franchise to you.
Yeah, but this was to our media request.
Well, we like to grow our business as in this show, but not opening a fitness franchise is going to. I will say this: I listen to one of the news networks on satellite radio sometimes when I'm in the car. I'm not going to tell you which one.
Sure.
But it's basically a simulcast of their on-air television, signal. So it's just the audio, but during those 2 or 3 minute commercial breaks, instead of hearing the ads you hear on television, they play radio specific ads. And I've lost count of how many ads where people want you to buy into this franchise of this or that, or super duper pizza store. I'm just making stuff up at this point. Like something fitness. You want to. This is a great franchise opportunity. Blah 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 blah. Get it now. Go to blah 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 blah.com/news for special deal. I'm like, I just changed the station. I get so tired. I wish it was just silence there for the 2 minutes. Anyway.
Well, I noticed a story I thought I'd bring up on the show for sure because we cover stuff like this, mobile services, that kind of thing. I don't know if you saw the latest news out, but Comcast, this is a headline. Comcast unveils plan to sell mobile services that harness its Wi-Fi network.
I had seen this. I have not really read much into it. Xfinity Mobile.
Yes, Xfinity Mobile. And what they're really trying to do, from what I'm gathering, is try to tap into their already current users of their Xfinity product, Comcast. Okay.
It's going to be one of those MVNOs?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
That's
basically,
correct.
It's just...
See, they already have a deal that has struck a long time ago with Verizon. So it's going to be on the Big V network. Big Red. The question I have...
All right, what's the question you have?
is I've read I have several of these articles. I even got them all listed on our show notes, and they pretty much say a lot of the same thing. But the thing that I'm curious about is how this Wi-Fi calling would work. Because this is what it says: harnessing the 16 million, including in-home ones, in its franchise territories. When there's no Wi-Fi available, and for voice transmission, the phone would connect to Verizon's wireless network. My question is this: will it connect to just anybody's Wi-Fi? Hold on, that is on Xfinity or is on Comcast? Like, is there something they're doing in the background that say if you're near, you know?
Yeah. Here's my thoughts. I don't know this. This is not the gospel truth because I have no inside knowledge, but it's safe to say that, and this is cable customers in general. I think it's safe to say that probably a very large percentage actually purchase they actually lease their equipment through their provider. No matter what your cable service is, I think the average consumer just don't want to deal with it. No, that's like, all right, well, we can give you, for this much a month, we can give you the modem, and it has a built-in wireless. Yeah. Okay, that's fine, and they put that in. And I think that's what's going on with Xfinity and Comcast is with this, they're going to be able to hook in to their hardware that they can control. If I'm not mistaken, I think that the hardware, like the router modem combo you get from Comcast, that the consumer does not have any ability to get into the settings.
The mobile device would automatically find, connect to, and authenticate Wi-Fi connections.
Yeah, if it's Comcast's hardware that a customer's leasing,
the customer doesn't have to worry if there's a hotspot nearby. All we want to do is just make it simple.
So if you're driving by somebody who has Comcast and they have Comcast hardware, I think it's just going to hook onto that. I think it's going to. I wish Bruce was here. I honestly think that's the way. Now, if you're the type of consumer that I want to purchase my own, I want to manage my own hardware, or I'm just not going to use their hardware, I'm going to use my own. It ain't going to be able to hook into that, obviously. But I think majority of consumers just don't want to deal with it. They just don't want to deal with the complexities of having to set up a home network. So they just buy the hardware from Comcast, and Comcast has probably got something in their terms and conditions that allow them to do this.
It's been our experience that churn comes down to loyalty. Well, let's see. Hold on. It's been our experience that churn comes down and loyalty goes up. I'm thinking about what a frustration I would assume is what it's referring to.
Yeah, churn is the people coming and going.
Right.
Customers.
Comcast CFO Mike Canavan said. Kavana, sorry.
Well, they want another. They want a piece of the action more. They want more.
But I'm trying to get this. They only get this person's last name over here, and I'm trying to find out who they're talking about.
But this article, while you're doing that, this article says that the price would cost between $45 and $65 a month.
Yes,
which is not any better than going through Verizon, except that they're going to basically use their infrastructure when they can.
Here's the thing.
And save money, not have to use Verizon.
There's not going to be any line charges.
But if you go out and...
They're only going to charge you for data.
Well, but the thing is, $45 to $65 a month, that's how much you pay for a cell phone through Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile.
No, you have to have line charge. Like what I'm paying now is $20 at start before you pay any of that other stuff.
I think if you would just have a single line through Verizon, you would pay between $45 and $65 a month for a line with data.
Oh, I got it somewhere here.
I pay like $150 for three phones. So that's between $45 and $65 a month.
See, Sprint's going into an unlimited thing. That's another story I got right here.
Okay. Yeah, Comcast, they're just trying to make more money.
Well, that's what they're in the business of doing.
But they're charging the same amount that you would typically pay Big Red, as you call it, Verizon, or any other provider. It's a convenience thing because you can have it on one bill. And
according to this right here, that's on another article, which we'll get into here in a minute. When we come back. Verizon's Unlimited is one line $80, two lines $140, three lines $160, four lines $180.
We've talked about that.
Yeah. But Sprint's coming up. They're starting Unlimited with a 50, 80, 100, 120 plans.
What's the 50?
That's the one line.
Okay.
So one line 50.
What's the catch? They have all those catches like Verizon. You got to have auto draft through a debit card only, and you can't have this, you can't have that. And if your name's Michael, we're not going to sell it to you. And if
Well,
your name's Guru,
I
we're
don't
not gonna
know.
sell it to you.
Yeah, that's a good question. I will. It says starting April 7th, they'll start to phase out plans with data allowances for unlimited data plans. And to kick things off, their new unlimited Freedom customers will pay $50 for one unlimited line, $80 for two, $100 for three, $120 for four, so forth and so on. Now, like the other rivals, let's see, they are going to limit data. The throttle users if they consume more than 23 gigs. By the way, I wanted to tell you, but I've just noticed the clock, so we're going to have to go. We'll come back. I just noticed the clock. We got to run. We'll come back, and when we come back, I want to finish this story and expand on it a little bit more, and sort of bring in a little bit of what I've recently dealt with Big Red. So,
all right,
hey, take a show. Be right back.
No representation is made that the opinions of hosts here are better than those of the average tech show, but we think so.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladiga Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Welcome into the Hey Techie Show.
Come with me now.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, we had a caller, but they decided not to be on
Yeah,
air.
but-
So what did they want to bring up?
Yeah,
Gary?
and he brought up a good point. We really hadn't talked about this in a while. We may have talked about it ever, but he was coming back. Everybody's all about this wireless this and wireless that, and Wi-Fi and cellular.
Yeah.
We've got all this infrastructure in the ground.
Yeah.
And we're not using it. That was basically his point, and I agree with him to a certain extent. Like think of home phone service.
Yeah.
It's going to the edge of the dinosaur.
Yeah, I know.
Because people are going to cell phones,
Yeah.
but there's again that weak point. And you remember back during Snowmageddon, people around here locally know back, was it 2013? Am I right there? A couple years ago when basically everybody's trying to get home and everything with the snow, but everybody had crammed full of the cell phone network. Cell phone networks don't have the capacity.
No, I know. Right.
And I mean, if
But
if you're out, you're going to use your cell phone. But people at home are probably using their cell phone.
Well, I mean, I don't think you're going to be able to get in the way of that technology. I mean,
I
I don't
know.
think you can go back.
I
I
know.
don't think we turn this clock backwards.
I know.
But now, as to the point of we're not utilizing what's in the ground, I mean, that could be true.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt there's probably some truth to that. The question is, what would you use it for? I mean, that for technology to go forward, what it carries on sometimes changes.
That is true. That is true. But there's a lot of dark fiber.
And and I'm sure it could be utilized in other areas. But then you've got to look at too, and I want to get back to this other story here in just a second. But I appreciate the caller, by the way. Thank you very much for calling. I wish you would have been able to call and talk, because we are some of the nicest people you'll ever talk to. You never know, we may agree with you. But anyway, thanks for listening. We deeply appreciate it. So I wanted to we can finish up with this right here, I feel. But my point was that the lines under the ground, and this is a good point, but I'm not sure how long they will be utilized for technology, because we still have coming up eventually LTE 5, if you want to call it that. And they're saying the speeds on that will eventually rival some of what you can get
Yeah.
in regular landline systems.
Really?
Well, that's what they're saying.
That would solve the problem with the rural
It
broadband
could.
divide.
Now, do you remember? It was either last year, late last year, early this year. Bruce brought on the show a system that they had been testing for instantaneous communication. It was a satellite where I think they pinged or something like that. And it was they transferred files. It was immediately transferred down it, and then it went back up.
Yeah,
It
I
was
think I
quick.
remember that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was real quick. So my point is this. It's fine to be concerned about these cables in the ground. I got it. Maybe we don't utilize what we can. Maybe they could be used for something else. I admit I'm not sure what the utilization is, but at some point the technology is going to extremely surpass what you can carry on copper lines.
Oh, I know.
It technically already has to an extent.
Yeah.
And then you tie in people's lives. People's lives may not spend a lot of time at home, and some do, but some don't.
Yeah.
And so they're on the go. Well, on the go is a device that's on the go.
Right.
So I can see all these things.
But there are applications and instances where you need landline.
Yeah. Well, you still have
communications.
fax machines.
Well, you have not just fax machines, but like alarm systems for homes and businesses.
Yeah, but
there's some businesses.
Yeah, but now some of those alarm systems are going cellular.
I know.
That's another issue.
Yeah, but you have some by regulation, and I'm not going to go into the industry, but I know for a fact, talking to somebody I know, that they're trying to start up a business, and it's regulated by the government.
Yeah, right.
You know, for good reason. You know, but they're required by law to have a landline telephone.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, there's times where you need that. Now, granted, for the average consumer, it's your choice kind of at this point. You can have it or not have it. I mean,
but as long as it could dial out, I mean, I wonder if like a cell, like or a cable one telephone connection.
VoIP would be acceptable in the case I'm talking about, as long as it's a
correct. It get to get a dial tone. It has to be able to get a dial tone one way or the other.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah, and VoIP is still using the infrastructure of the.
Right.
It's just, our church recently, not recently, within probably last year, they went to VoIP through the cable company. Been very satisfied. There was a period I had VoIP at the house until I finally just got rid of it because I wasn't using it.
Yeah,
I had it basically as a number that I didn't want to. I give that number out instead of my cell phone, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But But anyway, thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
We
calling.
dearly appreciate it.
But one thing I will say and kind of put a bow in this is, one thing we've got to solve is when you get away from the cities and the suburban areas, how to get broadband to everybody. Back in the 20s, 30s, rural electrification was a big deal. And I'm glad that the country went that direction to get, 99.9% of the country on the power grid. We've got to do the same thing with broadband. We're leaving folks behind. Whether or not you choose to use it or not, it needs to be available. And I understand the cost of burying cable or putting on lines to get this to folks, but we got to figure that out somehow. Because we're doing our kids a disservice, I think, at this point. Because here's a point. I know I said I was going to be finished, but I kept my nephews the other week, and they had an e-learning day.
Yeah.
And they had to do. I think they were off the Friday before spring break, and they had an e-learning day, and then of course spring break occurred too. But I was helping them with their e-learning stuff because they were spending the day with me, and some of that stuff were they were expecting them to go online and do stuff, and I'm just thinking like I could help them at my house because I have the ability to do it. But what if somebody can't afford it or doesn't even, besides of affordability, but can't get it? That's what bothers me. Anyway, we could talk about that for 2 hours. So back to your whatever you was talking about. what was that again? About your thing with Big Red.
Well, I don't want to go into too much personal detail.
Yeah,
but,
well, don't.
But I'll say this: I didn't realize I went down there days ago. Okay, I think last Saturday actually. But long story short,
Well, let me ask you this: when you have to go to the phone company, do you go to the actual company store, or do you go to like one of these authorized agents?
I have been to both. This time I went to the Real Big Red down in Oxford.
Okay.
Met a real nice guy.
Okay.
His name's Ron, and he actually was a former football player here.
Really?
At the university.
Does he listen to Hey Techies?
He didn't know about Hey Techies, yeah.
Did you tell about Hey Techies?
No.
You should have let them our card.
I know.
Anyway.
It wasn't that I'm embarrassed or anything. It just wasn't the right time.
Okay.
Anyway, long story short.
Your wife was embarrassed, right?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Actually, I did have a card on me. I should have. That's a shame.
But go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Slap me. Anyway, what I was getting at real quickly here before we jump to rumors. The actual let's see, what would I call it? I'm trying to figure out just the actual plan. I'm sorry. The actual plan I have, or we had, I knew it was too much. I mean, I wanted to go down there and just say, hey, and I had some insurance on the phone I wanted to drop. I didn't need it anymore, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Anyway, so long story short, I said, well, we need to see what other plans you have. We need you to come back with a plan that might work better for you, because I don't think we're getting the best out of ours.
Okay.
So he did. He came back with one, actually, that I had never heard of. You know, they have the unlimited plan they've been pushing.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And for some situations, it would work.
Yeah, I mean.
But now they had a promo. Now, we asked him about promo. Is this promo as in it's going to go away? He said, no, it's a promotion, but it's not going to go away.
So like if you get it now, you're locked in.
That's what he said. That's what he said. So
got that in writing?
Yeah, literally. So anyway, long story short, what we ended up getting was like 8 gigs to share, which we only had 6 to start with. 8 gigs to share.
And this is how many phones?
It's 2?
Well,
it's as many. It's 3 right now.
Oh,
but it
you
could be more.
You could add more
because
it's a family.
In this
plan.
one, the line charge dropped. We were paying more for line charge.
Okay.
But long story short, this is the part I wanted to get to.
Okay.
You get 8 gigs, but before now, we've had to pay overage charges if we went over the gig limit.
Right.
But with this plan, you don't pay any overage charges. What they do is limit you down to 3G speed.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
If you go over.
I've got that actually.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, I did not. And so we really need it because occasionally we go over. Oh, and the other thing that's on this that I didn't know about was month-to-month rollover. So if
Yes.
So if
we talked about this on this show.
We probably have, but
come on now.
I know, but I didn't. We didn't have that.
So if you have 8 gigs a month, and you use 7 of those 8, you have 1 gig
to go to the next month, but that's it. You got to use the next month.
So that month you have 9 instead of 8.
Correct. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I switched to that probably within the last 3 months.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
but to back it up further, I used to be on that plan that they charged the per line charge. I was able to lower it, but I did it a different way. But go ahead.
Yeah, so anyway, that's really the gist of it. I mean, I guess my point is, if you think that if you need, I guess at the time we were needing 2 phones, and I got my son a pretty nice phone. I thought we got a good deal on it. It's actually the Moto Z Play, the Moto Z Play.
Yeah, thanks for repeating that.
I know.
My cord came out of
the headphone. He's deaf for a minute.
I could barely hear.
Yeah, well, anyway, and that's actually not a bad phone.
Yeah.
I've been very impressed with it. I tell you, it's thin. It's super thin. If it didn't have a case on it, it would be amazingly thin. But obviously, he has to have a case.
Obviously,
yeah. But I think he's excited. Oh, and he got an update, and he was real excited about this update. I wanted to tell you, I think he's on the latest, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, latest and greatest.
He's on the latest, I think, of Android, if I'm not mistaken, because he can do dual screens with 2 different apps.
Oh.
Yeah, side by side. And he's really liking that.
So is the Moto Z, is it one of those pure Android experiences?
No, I think there's some because it's a Lenovo phone.
Okay. Well, yeah.
But it didn't look like there was much.
Yeah, I'm thinking the Moto stuff is fairly lightweight in terms of crapware.
It has appeared to be.
Now,
but you got the Verizon junk on
but them Samsung phones, oh my gosh.
Well, we're fixing to find out because I'm going to get my hands on it.
If I was to pick a Android phone to switch to, it would be a pure Android.
Yeah, I mean, we'd all like that. I mean, I think most people would.
Oh, I know I would.
But my wife, she's probably going to get something else. So anyway. But anyway, that's a long story.
But back to another way, you don't have to go visit the
no, you don't have
the cell phone company store. is I've done this in the past where I felt like I was paying too much, and I actually got on their online chat.
Right.
Because I may have been in a situation where I couldn't get on the phone and stay on the phone
Right.
and be on hold,
Yeah.
but it worked well. I could sit there and open up a little chat window through their support site, and they handled it all through the chat.
Yeah, and that
They
can work.
They looked at what I was currently on and said, well, this is what we can do. If you go to this is what you'll get. And I went back and asked a couple of questions,
Right.
and I switched it while I was on the chat with them.
See, there you go. That's another way if you don't want to go down there.
But I will give Verizon credit. The times I've had to talk to their customer service, whether it's chat, online, or even in person, I went down to their store down in O-Town, as I call it, and helped my grandfather get a phone. But I've always had good experience with their customer service. So,
all right.
There you go.
Jason sent us an email. Thank
All
you,
right.
Jason.
Yeah, thank you,
listener, one of our favorite listeners of all time, for sure.
We'll get him to call in.
It's
one
been
time.
the longest, for sure, to keep up with us. Yeah, he does need to. He says, "Hi, Michael. I'm loving the show. You and the Guru are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you."
He said, "I do have a tech question though. Tonight.
Oh, okay.
I have an HP laptop that I bought a couple of months ago. It's a lower end laptop. It's one of the models that just had around. Let's see what it is. One of the models that just has around 15 gig hard drive." Lately, it's showing to be using about 12 gigs of that memory.
So one of those
even though my folders are showing to be empty, how can I free up some of that memory?
Is it running Windows?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder if it's one of those.
Is it a Chromebook?
No, there's some Windows devices that are small screens, and if the screen's a certain size, like the licensing for Windows is different, so they can actually lower the cost of the hardware.
Guess I don't know that.
Lower the cost of the device because you're not paying for a Windows license. And some of those have solid state drives, and they're very small. I didn't know HP made one. Usually, got some of the more less known brands that do that. Like there's a WinBook that's like that. Like a netbook. You know what I mean by netbook, the smaller screen?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And a lot of those netbooks they're very small form factors, so they don't have a whole lot of room, and they just have solid state memory.
There is a report. I'm sorry to interrupt this.
Uh-oh.
There is breaking news right now, as a matter of fact. And it's serious. Apparently, they are saying that we are bombing military sites in Syria right now.
Really?
That's
Wow.
what they're saying. My wife sent me a text. I'm sorry, Jason. Didn't mean to interrupt our discussion. I'm trying. You may have to send us some more information.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that laptop, and I don't see one with 15 gigs of hard drive. Did you mean it has 15 gigs of RAM?
I'm thinking it's like a netbook where it's got.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Jason, you just need to call into the show.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
send us more email. A little more detail. But I'm thinking it's. So I'd like to know: is that the storage? Is it Windows 10, Windows 8?
Let's see here.
So.
Yeah. Now they have a 15Z Touch. Looks like it's not very expensive. Here, it looks like it would be a lower end, like he was referring to. Let's see here. Of course, it doesn't tell me what I'm looking for. Memory 8 gigs. Display. Hard drive space. That's got a 1 terabyte, so that can't be it.
No.
I don't know.
I know within the last. I know a couple years ago I heard of these. These were real popular because they were very low priced. They were very affordable. But the screen size was, I forget the size, that Windows at that time, I don't know if they're still doing Microsoft, but if the device's screen was below a certain size, you didn't have to, there was no license fee for Windows at the time. So that helped with the cost of the device because you didn't have to, the manufacturer didn't have to pay for the Windows license. So I'm thinking that's what it is, like one of those little netbooks.
Well,
but anyway.
Here's the deal. I guess we could sum it up like this.
All right.
I'm not exactly sure of the hard drive space. So if we're working with 15 gigs, I'm curious to see how in the world you put Windows on it. I mean, it was going to be tough to even get a version of Windows. It would have to be because I don't think it would go. No, it would take up. It would take up.
It's going to take
a good bit of that.
Yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't. I mean, you might. I doubt you'd have 12 free.
You could, if it's Windows, and correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, Windows, let's say it's Windows 8, because I know Windows 8 did this, even Windows 10, you can possibly, of course, go to the programs and add, remove programs in the control panel, which is probably called something different now, but that's how I call it. And uninstall things you don't need, obviously.
Well, yeah, but you can only go down to the OS.
Yeah, but if adding and removing Windows components,
yes, you could do that, but
free up disk space. But that's not going to save a whole lot.
I don't think that's it. I think we're missing some information here. Not that he's not telling us.
No.
It's just as hard to discuss this back and forth
It
this way.
is.
But anyway, to make a long story short, the only thing I can think of is offline storage. For instance, if you had a situation where you had OneDrive or even
Google
Drive, anything like that you could sign up for, if you have fairly decent Wi-Fi or at home, or even if you went just somewhere recent, you could store up some of your data that you're not keeping all the time up there and then pull it down or access it remotely. That's one option. It's not the most ideal thing. Ideally, on a laptop, anything small like this, you want at least, say, 120 gig drive or better. I mean, I know they don't really come in that terminology anymore, but I would go with at least a 128, 256,
right,
somewhere in the neighborhood. SSD would be preferably. It's going to be a much faster experience, even in the smaller laptops.
What about just like a jump drive?
You could do that. You could do an external jump drive. Now, the only problem you got there is I wouldn't save anything that you don't care about losing, because jump drives are losable. They're also damageable. So whatever you're going to save there, you definitely want to back up.
Right.
Now, if you were just talking about programs, you're probably only going to be able to put on this device up to that limit. Obviously. But I can't say that I've heard of this particular model.
Yeah, I have not personally heard of this model, but doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Oh no, yeah, I have. I'm looking up HP laptop netbooks.
Yeah,
and I see some things, but anyway.
I'm thinking it's a netbook, and those had very attractive price points. I think some of them were less than $100.
Well, I wonder if with a
full
it
Windows
sounds like
experience.
To me that it's a Chromebook. See, that's what I want to know.
But Chromebooks, you can't store anything on the device. I mean, you're not going to really monitor disk space because you can't save anything to it. I mean, it's inherently designed to store stuff in the cloud.
Yeah, but you can add apps and things.
Yeah,
too.
but those Chrome apps don't take up much space at all unless you got like a bazillion of them. And that's a very technical term. I apologize to our listeners.
They don't list the storage space on here unless I'm not seeing somebody saying go. Oh yeah, flash memory capacity 16 gigs right here. That's right. Yeah, I'm thinking it's an HP Chromebook. Is my guess. 16 gig, yeah. That would be in the neighborhood of what he's talking about.
Okay.
That's my guess. If that's the case, that's what it is. I mean,
well, I did a quick little Google search for HP netbook and found it's $200, an HP Mini.
Yeah, but I think it has a bigger drive than that, does it not?
Let's see. It's jet.com, which is owned by Walmart.
You'd have to have Windows. There's just no way it would work because
this one's got a 32 gig hard drive.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's in the neighborhood though. That's what we're talking about here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's possible. Yeah, those netbooks are nice from what I've heard if you just want to surf and do things like that. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Didn't know if you're ready, but we're ready now. Yeah, just to update you on the breaking real news is they launched missiles from 2 of the U.S. warships to Syria.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm going to try to monitor that too.
That's a serious deal there, buddy.
Yeah, well, when you got Shepard Smith on Fox News during prime
There
time,
you
you know
go.
it's serious. So anyway.
Nobody's listened to the Hey Techies show. They've
No.
all turned over to watch Shep or somebody else.
Yeah, Shep or whatever.
But
your
first to
favorite
get it
news person.
wrong.com.
That's right. So, but we record this, so you can watch
That's right.
You can watch or listen to the podcast later. So, got 2 rumors here. You ready for them? So, first one. Let me get where I can read this screen. Man, my eyes are just not like what they used to be. So, Apple's planning new iMac configurations targeting pro users later this year. You know, there's been a whole lot of outcry from some of their pro base that they've been leaving them behind. So apparently this has been disclosed to a group of journalists at Apple's headquarters at the same time as plans for Apple's future Mac Pro releases. Apple is marketing, this is Phil Schiller, confirmed that the new iMacs are in the works, slated for this year. And John Gruber noted that Schiller advised that this will include configurations of iMac specifically with the pro consumer in mind, revealing that the company's popular desktop with professional users is an all-in-one iMac.
Yeah.
So here's a quote from Craig Federighi, software engineering VP.
Oh, yes.
And now you look at today's 5K iMac. Top configs is incredibly powerful and a huge fraction of what we've traditionally, whether it's audio editing, video editing, graphics, etc., and so forth, that would previously absolutely required the Mac Pros of old are being addressed by the iMac. So you can kind of read between the tea leaves there. Makes you wonder what they're going to do with the Mac Pro, because the Mac Pro trash can model is awful.
Well, you know, I think they're not going to have that anymore.
Yeah, I think that's going away. So, but it's still there's no specifics given in this article. But apparently they're not giving up on the pro users yet. The iMacs apparently where they're going after them there. So, yeah, the 2013. This has got to see. Apple issued a minor speed bump to the 2013 Mac Pro. Wow, so it's been that long. It's been over 3 years.
Oh yeah, it has. Yeah.
So the latest Mac Pro has a 6-core, 3 years old now, 6-core Xeon CPU, dual AMD GPU with a base of $3,000.
Yeah.
And then the $4,000 variant, you get an 8-core and dual GPUs. So anyway, so I saw that one, but this next one that I found, I thought of our friend from A-Concept. You know, he was on the show a couple weeks ago. I think he call in? He called in a few weeks ago, didn't he?
Not A-Concept.
I'm
getting
my guess confused.
It was back before Christmas.
And if you don't listen to us off, it was a week that we were preempted for.
Yeah, it was back
for sports.
It was back before Christmas.
Yeah. So, but if you can go back, I forget what episode it was. We talked to him about. He gave us a good review on the MacBook Pro, and that's
screen.
Yeah, the one with the touch bar, had the 15-inch, and we did talk to him. No, we hadn't yet. We're going to. That's what it was. He had that screen got cracked.
Yes.
But anyway, that's another story. But one thing we talked about was, you know, the MacBook Pro is all USB-C ports and a headphone jack. So like the power is USB-C, all your peripherals USB-C. You know, I think
exactly.
One thing I believe we talked about was, of course, now that the power is through USB-C that Apple kind of patented MagSafe power.
So there might be some adapters.
Yes, Apple could possibly make a MagSafe USB-C adapter.
Huh.
Because they've recently filed a patent within the last couple of days.
You think that's because they got so many emails and hate mail about, hey, I like, what about that?
I'm thinking that's the case. I really do. So it's basically this is an Engadget article, and they have some sketches that came from the patent application that show a little adapter that plugs in USB-C, and then you can plug in a MagSafe on the other end. So, but of course, this is only a patent, and Apple patents everything that they think of. But I actually think this could very well go to market sooner rather than later, and I would be. For someone who would want to purchase a MacBook Pro, this is something I would want to also have. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I would want to have the MagSafe That's one thing I like about the MacBook. All the MacBooks, I guess I got a MacBook Air, so yeah, all the MacBooks they have this MagSafe. I just unplugged mine, but it's nice where if you accidentally grab it, it's going to break away
like this.
Yeah, and it won't just pull your laptop in the floor.
Yeah.
So
agree.
We'll see. I think this has actually got high probability of actually going from rumor to confirmed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when we come back, we'll close the show down.
Yeah, if I can play this little outro.
Yeah, you can.
Trying to do it with the touch screen. It's not working.
And the guru will try to stump me, which I'm sure will not be too hard for this week in Techies.
Never know.
Hey, Techies Show. Be right back.
Got an illegal email server? Need it wiped? Call us. We have a cloth that just might work.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladiga Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
You're listening to the Hey Techies Show on WLJS Jacksonville.
Welcome back into the Hey Techies Show. 50 Tomahawk missiles, as I understand.
Yeah, we were just during that quick little break. I was trying to get caught up, and it was very limited to strike apparently to just one base.
Yeah, sounds like to me they were trying to keep airplanes or aircraft from getting off the ground.
Yeah, I think
from
so.
What I'm gathering from the limited
it was very strategic. To
120 miles from the actual sarin gas incident. That happened.
And I think President Trump he just made a statement or a tweet or something and said basically this was essential for national security to do this strike. So, we just hope
it was a lot of. I didn't see a lot of the pictures, but very sad things that they showed.
Yeah, it broke my heart to see that. I mean, this innocent folks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, I hate to move from that to something that will be very embarrassing for myself, but nonetheless, we should do that. This time, every week, when we have this wonderful show on, we turn the show over to the guru for this week in tech history.
Thanks for being slow because I had to get this pulled up. I didn't have it. I was not ready.
Stalling.
You were stalling or vamping.
Vamping, stalling.
All right. So, are you ready, Michael?
Sure.
Are you ready, Bruce? Oh, Bruce ain't here. You got to do it by yourself. Oh, shucks. Anyway, here you go. Your date is April the 6th of 1992.
What?
Oh, that's the wrong sound effect.
Well, it might not have been because I'm going to tell you what I think it was.
And for those
what I think it is, that was money for somebody eventually. I'm going to go in with Windows 3.1 released.
You're right.
Oh, April 6, 1992. I don't remember necessarily that day, but I remember Windows 3.1. $150.
What I was trying to get out is, for those who are new to the show.
Yes. Sorry.
I give Michael, usually Bruce, but this week Michael, just a date. And he has to figure out what happened on that date.
Yes.
And the date would have been within the last week at some point in the past. So Microsoft releases Windows 3.1. It was priced at $149 US. Selling 3 million copies over the next 2 months. Windows 3.1 added multimedia extensions allowing support for sound cards, MIDI, you remember MIDI?
Oh, yes. I still use MIDI.
And CD audio, Super VGA, 800 by 600 monitors, and increased the speed of the modem it would support to 9,600 BPS, bits per second. I remember my first computer had a 2400 baud modem. And I put
Bald.
2,400 bits per second.
Yeah.
And I put a 14.4, and I thought that thing was just smoking.
Smoking hot. Oh, there you go.
So it was the first version of the Windows that we actually use today. So it's a big deal. My first PC had Windows 3.1. So I remember that very well. You know, that's when you actually had Windows ran on top of DOS.
All right.
Which DOS is disk operating system. So you turned your computer on, it went into DOS, and depending on how your computer was set up, it could drop to command prompt.
Yes.
And then from there, you would go to the Windows directory and type in Win, and it'd run. Or if you had it in your batch file, it just auto load.
And then when they invented ATX, everything changed.
Yeah, I know.
Everything changed.
And half our listeners are like, huh?
Yeah, everything changed.
Because probably the people that are in college now don't even know anything about ATX or Windows 3.1.
Well, they've probably heard of it. Oh, my goodness.
I actually have a boxed copy of Windows 3.0 that's still in the shrink wrap.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's probably a good place for it, still in the shrink wrap.
Yeah, I think it's the 3.5 floppy disk version. It probably don't tell how many disks. It's probably like 20 disks. But anyway.
Yeah.
So there you go. So good job, Michael.
Well, you know.
Well, I told you it wasn't going to be that hard. I try to make it easy on you.
Oh, right. Sure. Appreciate it.
Now, Bruce had been here. I had a whole different story now.
I don't think we have a heck of a week tonight.
No.
We probably I probably could have just searched for something quickly, and I'm sure there's something.
Just Google something quick and Google something while you're waiting.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, Google something while you're waiting, right?
Yeah, I really don't have any overclock stack either.
Well,
so we've got to stall for like 7.5 minutes.
Well, no, I've got some stuff we can certainly go through. We go through what's left of mine real quick.
Well, I've got one thing I want to do real quick.
Go ahead.
It should have been last week when we talked about iOS 10.3.
Yes,
but they put a extra tap in there. So if you haven't already installed 10.3, there was an issue where there was a lot of pranks going around where you would touch a phone number on like a web page or something, probably a web page, but it would actually prank you into dialing 911 because I remember this before the 10.3 update, because one thing with the HTML standard, you know, like when you're coding web pages and you want to do like a link, you do like the A tag A, and then you put href : http blah 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 www.heytechyshow.com, and then you put your link. You close the tag, but then you put what text you want in the /a. I know it's getting very technical. One thing you can do, and I knew you could do this I've done this for a while, for that, instead of HTTP, for that A tag, you could put TEL for telephone and put a number. And if you touch that link on a mobile device, it could call that number.
Right.
Which that's nice, especially if you're trying to build something that's going to be displayed on a phone.
Right.
So I know iOS used to, the moment you touch that telephone number, start dialing it.
Sure. Now
on Android, it would always prompt you. Well, now and I guess people are pranking folks that had iOS devices to touch it, and it would say, you think you're calling one number, yeah, it's calling 911.
Oh.
Because they had that encoded in the HTML.
Right.
So now starting with 10.3 and later, when you touch a telephone link or someone's going to actually invoke the calling feature, it'll prompt you, do you want to call this number?
Right.
So yeah, it's an extra tap, but I think it's well needed because people have taken advantage of that.
Of course.
Because you always want to limit the number of clicks or taps a user has to do anything. That's one thing in things I develop and write is you want to try to make it as painless as possible. Not painful, painless as possible for the end user. So if they have to twitch their finger more than 3 or 4 times, they're probably not going to get there. So I see where Apple was going, but they finally said, well, enough's enough. So that's the last thing I had. So,
well, according to a Silicon Beat headline, judge blocked Seattle law that allowed Uber, Lyft drivers to unionize.
Oh, okay.
And it's by Marsha Kendall, and it was yesterday, actually. A federal judge on Tuesday temporarily suspended the nation's first law that gave the ride-hailing drivers collective bargaining rights. The law won't be enforced until the court has a chance to weigh the broader implications it holds for the country's labor policies. Now, the actual judge is Robert Lansk. And actually, I did a little reading up on Robert, and he actually was first appointed to the court by Bill Clinton back in
really?
1998, I think, if I'm not mistaken, if that's what I looked at.
And I'm thinking your more left-leaning people are more pro union.
Well, they would be, but that's what's odd about this to me in a way. They normally are, but this right here actually is a ruling for the actual execs and the people in charge at Uber and Lyft. That
for the I'm not following.
Yeah,
you.
because they don't want to unionize.
Of course not.
Because if they unionize, if they get collective bargaining rights, then they'll be able to do things like they were already trying to do. For instance, like overtime pay, minimum wage, reimbursements for gas. Other driving expenses.
Well, all that's on the bargaining table. Wages, benefits.
Well, it wouldn't be
all that.
It wouldn't be if they're considered independent. See, right now they would be considered just contractors. So that's what's been controversial.
Right. Yeah, but if you change it, then it changes the whole thing, and then the union can come in.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm not so sure that's the best thing for any of it. Here's the other thing. The other thing is a side story that I thought about. I don't have proof of this, so I can only speculate. So that's what I'm doing is speculating.
We'll speculate.
Okay.
Speculate away.
It could be that there also are some lobbyists. Okay. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Uh-oh.
Some lobbyists for the taxi unions that don't want Lyft and Uber to be successful.
Okay, they're trying to stir the pot up. So
I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying that it's possible. It's possible that there could be more here than meets the eye. That there's more individuals in this that's got their hand in the pot trying to keep these certain things from happening.
Yeah,
because there's no question that Lyft and Uber have been fought in many places, many cities, and even in other countries. Several of these
there was a time where like Uber and Lyft could not operate out of airports, for example.
Right, and some of them there still have a problem.
Yeah, some of them still, but I think it's becoming more. They've kind of reached some deals with the airport because I used Uber when I left the Orlando airport, taken to my hotel, and it cost more. Like the extra fee that the airport gets to pick up. But anyway, that was kind of part of the deal.
Like for instance, after 3 years court battle, a federal court in San Francisco finalized a $27 million settlement last month in the Lyft case that does not force the ride-hailing company to change its driver's status, which is referring to whether they're an employee
or a contractor,
or they're a contractor, independent, what have you.
Yeah, because if they're considered a contractor, I mean, I'm thinking, I'm not an HR expert here, but they don't have to pay benefits or.
Yeah, there's a lot of things they're not going to do.
Yeah, and I like Uber, and I want them to be successful.
But at the same time, you got to be careful here in a way. And the reason I'm saying this is because they have a particular model, a business model. You don't have to be an Uber driver. You don't have to be a Lyft driver.
No,
their model was set up is you signed on, and this was you in your spare time. You were making money in your spare time.
Right.
But some of these people have gone to this is their only job.
That's their choice.
I know. So my point is, I think that some people are trying to get out of this what was never intended. That's what I'm saying.
I think you're onto something.
That's
there.
what I think.
Yeah,
that's what I'd be. And I
because
think
if it's a part-time job or a spare job, I mean, that's the model that works well. You don't need benefits because you have another job that's providing health insurance and other fringe benefits.
Well, supposedly, but my point is that I think that they're trying to that several individuals, lots of individuals, got their foot in the door and said, "Well, let's see how far we can take this." Yeah. See, they wouldn't be able to file as a class action unless they were unionized and could do collective bargaining.
Yeah,
like a group like that. Yeah, I mean from that. I think that's right. From that standpoint, they couldn't do it collectively. Was what I'm getting at. I might have the wrong terminology.
And the thing is, if they do collective bargaining, it would make the price go up too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, look, that's it for us.
We're done.
Yeah. 2 hours in the books, episode 88. But we will hope to be back next week one way or the other. From all of us to all of you, have a fabulous weekend.
The Hey Techies Show is produced by The Guru and co-produced by Mike Stedham. Program director is Jefferson Varner. Join us again next time for another exciting installment of The Hey Techies Show. It's going to be great, maybe.
I am not trying to seduce you.
When I dance, they call me Macarena, and the boys they say que soy buena. They all want me, they can't have me, so they all come and dance beside me. Move with me, shine with me, and if you're good, I'll take you home with me.